There comes a time in everyone's Minecraft journey when they start getting the itch. The itch to start over. A fresh start. The 2-week phase. And just because this is a forever world, doesn't mean things are different here. After grinding away over the last year to create a place that felt like my world, I've built a lot of really cool things. But I just want to get a taste of that early game Minecraft. And so, we're doing a reset. Taking all of our diamonds, burying them in the graveyard, dropping off our tools, and heading off into the distance. This isn't the end. This is just another beginning. We can have as many beginnings around here as we want. Because around here, we have forever. Hey, welcome to Season 3 of Forevercraft. A new beginning on the Forevercraft server. We all came together and decided it was finally time for a fresh reset on Forevercraft. We took all of our diamonds, buried them in the world, reset our gear, and moved to a new location. All of our old builds are still out there, and we'll get back to them eventually. But for now, we're just going to come out here and enjoy the early game of Minecraft. For the last year, we've been building up our resources, getting OP tools. We've got farms for everything now. Sometimes it's nice to return to your roots and just play some early game Minecraft. We've got our cows penned up. We're starting to get some leather and some food. We've got a little tiny sugarcane patch here, some wheat to keep us survived. I've got this beautiful spot up on this hill where I'm going to build a nice little starter house. Just a good old-fashioned Minecraft starter house with some crafting and some storage and some easy access to a mine probably. And we're going to build out this area a little bit, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time here just kind of creating a cool little quarry village where they're mining rocks to send down to the ocean. That's the plan. But before we do that, we've got to get some things out of the way to make our life a little bit easier. When we're living off iron gear and the little scraps that we can find in the caves below us, we do have a horse. He is not the fastest, but he is a really good jumper. This guy can actually jump 4 blocks, which is, I didn't even realize that horses could do that, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, first things first, I think I want to get an iron farm built. I already put a villager breeder underneath the town over there, just because when you have a server like this and there are multiple people playing, there's a lot of times the villagers will get killed off because zombies will spawn and things will kill them in the village. And before you know it, you have no villagers left. So one of the first things I always do if I have a village nearby is I just put a little villager breeder underneath the village to kind of repopulate the town so that there's always going to be new villagers kind of showing up. And then when we do want to build farms like an iron farm, we know we're going to have villagers available. Actually, I think I'll hop on over there and just show you what this thing looks like. It's a pretty typical villager breeder, and I've used it before in some of my older videos, especially back on the old school Let's Play videos. I think it's actually the same farm I used for my first week on Forevercraft in Season 2. I do not have a lead yet, and I don't want my horse to fall in a giant hole, but there's one of our baby villagers. As you can see, the breeder is working. All right, down in this hole is where the villager breeder sits. So it's simply a 9x9 hollowed out area. These are all carrots. So when a Minecraft farmer harvests carrots, he will actually throw them to someone else as a food source because carrots can just be eaten as soon as you harvest them. But it also means that he'll replant carrots. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling cycle where they always have a crop and they always have food to feed themselves to make more Minecraft babies. Oh, I think we're gonna get another one right here. Let me actually block this off so that the baby goes where he's supposed to go. As soon as this thing spawns, you'll see it'll try to jump on the beds. It falls down. Oh, it doesn't fall down every time. That's a really good jumper you've got there. Yeah. No, I think he's going to be a star. But eventually they'll fall down in this hole when they don't jump clean over the gap. I've actually never seen that before. But typically they will fall down in this little hole right here, and then the water will kind of sweep them away into the town. Because as soon as they fall down here, this is just a nice little water tunnel. This kind of pushes the villager down to the end, and then they'll just pathfind their way out of here. This is kind of the only way they can go, so eventually they climb the stairs, they jump out here, and they're just in the town. When we have more blocks, I'll typically put a bubble elevator there, so the water will just push them right into a bubble elevator. They'll shoot up to the surface and populate the town, but for now, we're doing it the old school way. It's a little slow, but we're not really collecting villagers yet. I just want to make sure that there's a constant supply of villagers to the town itself. All right, we blocked this back off, right? I don't want anything getting in here and killing these guys because it is a kind of a pain in the butt to get villagers into this farm. It looks like our baby did actually jump down the hole. Now is on his way into the world. There he is. This guy's fast. So as you can see, they pathfind pretty quickly up out of there. I don't believe villagers can fall in this hole. I probably should put one more ladder. I think villagers get stuck like this. But even if a few of them fall in there, again, we have an infinite supply. All right, the first thing I want to get knocked out is an iron farm because I want to have easy access to tools, at least digging and doing like a little bit of terraforming and material gathering. If we've got a constant supply of iron tools, that's going to make our life so much easier. Plus, I want to do things with hoppers, and I want to get maybe a lava farm going for a fuel source. And we're going to need a whole bunch of iron for cauldrons and for hoppers. So iron farm first, and once we get that thing up and running, then we'll build our beautiful little cabin up on the hill. First things first, let me get the iron farm built, and then we'll start wrangling these villagers. I actually don't have a lead yet either, which is going to make things a little bit tricky, because we can't change elevation with villagers without pulling on them with a lead. We might have to do like the job block trick where you set down a job block and lure them. I don't know. I want the iron farm up by my house, I think, or at least maybe midway. Wish me luck, and hopefully these guys cooperate. Well, we have the initial base done for the iron farm. Now is going to come the tricky part. We need to get villagers in this thing, and we need to get a zombie. Now, there are a few different ways to deal with zombies on an iron farm. You can put them in a boat. Everyone claims that if you give them an item, they won't despawn, but I have not ever had any luck with that. I will say the boat method works, but I like to have the zombie floating in some water, because it seems to like trigger the villagers getting scared more often because it breaks line of sight. So we need to get a zombie in here, and we need to get him name tagged, because that is the easiest way to have a loose zombie that will never despawn. Unfortunately, we don't have villager trades yet, and we have not found any mine shafts for name tags. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of fishing and just see if I can get really lucky and get a name tag. I think I'm just going to do like one fishing pole, and if I don't get it, I don't get it. And then from there, we'll do a little bit of underground searching. There's a massive cave system underneath all of this area. So there's a pretty good chance we could stumble upon a mine shaft if we really walked around that thing. It is quite dangerous down there though right now before we get enchanted gear. And then once I do get a name tag and get this guy in here and named, then we'll just bring some villagers over from the town in a boat. It would also be nice to have a lead to pull them over. Otherwise, we're going to have to do like the job block chaining, which I do not want to do. First things first, we got to get a name tag and we got to get a zombie in here. Actually, we'll probably get a name tag and then do the villagers. The villagers will just sleep in the beds. I'll make a little staircase so they can get down in there. We can get the villagers to like right here. When it becomes nighttime, they'll just jump right in the bed and then we close them in and that's easy. The zombie will have to get to like walk and fall into the hole. So we'll need to do a little trapdoor shenanigans to lead him in there. Let's do a little fishing and see if we can get a name tag.
I'm going to leave you. I'm gonna leave you here alone. I will sleep out in the darkness. The woods and fields are gonna be my home.
Well, we are most of the way there. We got all of our villagers in there. We've got Bob the zombie ready to go. But unfortunately, just having the bucket of water in the ground was not cutting it. And he's not jumping up and down enough to scare the villagers. So what that means is that we have to go to the Nether. The only other practical way to get this guy to be jumping up and down is with soul sand, which is how the original design for this farm functioned. I was kind of hoping that we could kind of get away with an early version that didn't require going to the Nether, but alas, here we are. I've already got some diamonds for a diamond pickaxe, and I know where there's a lava pocket underground, so we'll go grab some obsidian, make a portal. Hopefully we just have to jump in there, grab some sand, and jump back out. I happen to know because when we were setting up to find this location in our world, that the nether around the area that we're in right now is almost entirely lava lakes. So this should be interesting. Our armor's seen better days, and we don't have a lot of iron left. We used most of it for the hoppers for this farm. I actually didn't even have enough hoppers to go as deep as I wanted with the hoppers. So right now, this thing barely gets the lava. Like, this is as far as it goes down. Ideally, these hoppers would go down into the ground into a chest that I could harvest later, but for now, we're just gonna have to grab the iron from here until we have enough iron from the farm to make it, you know, more hoppers. I'm gonna go get some obsidian, and then hopefully we can get another portal, find some soul sand really quick, and this farm can be up and running. Last hurdle. We can do this. Okay, I don't love this. We don't have any gold on us. That's a fortress. Those are wither skeletons. That's someone else's portal down there. All right. Think digging into the wall is our only real safe option here with our current gear. I just noticed that our sword only has like 6 durability. We are running from any kind of a fight. Oh, there it is. Right? Because I think that's soul sand, and I think that's soul sand, and that's soul soil? Soul soil and soul sand. Like, I've never noticed how dumb it is that those are almost the exact same thing. Anyway, we've got what we needed. I'm gonna grab a couple extra because we're probably gonna want a bubble elevator for our mine. It's always nice to have bubble elevators, especially early in the game. So we'll grab a few extra and then get out of here before things get bad. Yeah, you can tell someone's been exploring this thing. We live to fight another day in the nether, and hopefully this singular block is gonna save us. If this doesn't work, then I honestly don't know why the farm's not working. Alright, so if you ever are watching my videos and don't understand why a skeleton like this isn't burning up, it's because I have a resource pack that hides armor. So even though we're in full iron armor, we don't show as wearing armor. So this guy definitely has a helmet, we just can't see it. Okay, let me double check that this is the zombie. It is. So we need to go, that's the water. We need to go 1 block below that. So this is the water block. Need to go here. Probably easier to do this like that. That should be the block he's standing on. So let's do soul soil. That. Replace our dirt. Path block it. We had an iron golem spawn. That's the first one that spawned, I believe, that I've actually seen anyway. Now we just need to break this block and put the water in, and this thing should be fully functional. You do good work, Bob. Keep it up. Now that he's jumping up and down, these things should be spawning at a pretty good clip because he's constantly breaking eyesight with those trap doors that are in front of the zombie. We need to get some slabs. I just realized we broke our little archway here. Yeah, there he is. Nice. All right. We have infinite iron. As you probably saw in the cutscenes, I decided it was just easier to make this ridiculous straight dirt path from the village to just boat these villagers over, and then I did end up using job blocks to kind of lure them up the hill. And then, like I said, as soon as it turned night, they ran up there and jumped right in their beds. And then once I got them up to the top, I just kind of pushed them into the hole. I see now that there is an iron ingot floating there, so it's not a lossless farm. The really only good fix for that would be to make this a hopper and to make this a hopper, but that's gonna make the farm uglier, so I'm just gonna leave it. Oh no, that's another one. Oh man. Maybe we need 2 more hoppers. You know what I'll do? I'll just do some trickery with trapdoors. We'll slap a trap door on all the corners, and then I can put a hopper behind that, because that is gonna be pretty annoying if that iron ingot just keeps getting stuck there in the corner. The way these farms function, if you didn't know, is the iron golem can spawn on any spawnable block. And I didn't want to just have path blocks all over the place and have a big yellow ground around the farm. So I decided to go with a little hedge maze. Yeah, a little tower in the middle. This is all kind of based off of an old farm. I would link it in the description if I could find it. I can't even find it anymore. It's from years ago. There's a guy that made this like cool little perch tower iron farm. And essentially it's this design. I honestly don't even know how close I am to the design anymore, because I've made it so many times since then, but shout out to that guy, because I've been making iron farms the same way for the last 10 years, I think. And it just works. It's got a nice little footprint, a little 5x5 shell. And then all you have to do is mob spawn proof the area around it. I decided that a hedge maze kind of fit with our thematic here a little bit. It's a little bit rudimentary. It's a little bit old school. We're gonna have a pretty standard like starter house, and then I want to do like an old school stone quarry with like wooden cranes and pulleys and stuff. So it's all going to be very rustic, if that makes sense. Very early 1900s maybe is a good aesthetic. It's still very much a work in progress, and I don't know exactly what I want to do with the block palettes and the themes around the area, but that's the general conception, is that I want it to be a cool little rock quarry farming operation. Words are hard, all right? And here it is, Iron Farm complete. I think that gets us out of the really early game grind. No more going down to shallow caves to pick up iron blocks anymore. We can make hoppers, we can make tools, we can fix our armor up. I think the next big thing we're gonna tackle is our starter house, because we're living out of a little hobbit hole under the tree down there, and it's already getting really annoying to find out where my stuff is. I'm a person that just really likes organized chests. And while I have really enjoyed like having this crop field above me and feeding the cows, I think it's time we get ourselves a nice, good, solid shelter with all the amenities you need for early game Minecraft up on the hill. But I don't have time to get to that this episode because, well, those villagers really took it out of me. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty more here on Season 3 starter area. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one.